Alright, our next lesson is small bodies in the solar system. This is lesson 6 of Unit 4. Bigger is not better. Where are small bodies in the solar system? Scientists estimate that there are up to 1 trillion small bodies in the solar system. They lack atmospheres and have weak surface gravity. The largest of all the small bodies, are the dwarf planets. Some of the largest of the small bodies, the dwarf planets, are found in the region known as the Kuiper Belt or the Kuiper Belt. That's the asteroid belt in our solar system. The Kuiper Belt is located beyond the orbit of Neptune. It contains the Kuiper Belt objects and comets. Comets are also located in the Oort cloud, which is the region that surrounds the solar system and extends almost halfway to the nearest star. Two other types of small bodies, asteroids and meteoroids, are located mostly between the orbits of Venus and Neptune. What are dwarf planets? A dwarf planet is a celestial body that orbits the sun and is round because of its own gravity. A dwarf planet does not have the mass to have cleared other bodies out of its orbit around the sun. So that means other things may be in its way, in its path. 5 dwarf planets have been identified: Ceres, Pluto, Eris, Haumea, and Makemake. KBOs, these are Kuiper or Kuiper Belt objects. The Kuiper Belt is a region of the solar system that begins just beyond the orbit of Neptune and extends outward to about twice the orbit of Neptune, a distance of about 55 AUs. Remember, 1 AU is the distance from the Earth to the Sun, which is about 150 million kilometers. Kuiper Belt objects. So these are objects that are orbiting and could be several things. A KBO, Kuiper Belt object, is any of the minor bodies in the Kuiper Belt. They're made of methane ice, ammonia ice, and water ice. So it's frozen methane, frozen ammonia, and frozen water. Pluto, from planet to KBO. Until 2006, Pluto is actually considered to be the ninth planet in our solar system. But beginning in 1992, the Kuiper Belt objects began to be discovered beyond Neptune's orbit, some of which had a similar size and composition as Pluto. So as we discovered these things, in 2006, astronomers redefined Pluto as a dwarf planet by the International Astronomical Union. Many of the large KBOs have satellites, meaning like our moon. Pluto is the second largest KBO, has Charon as its largest satellite. Some KBOs and their satellites, such as Pluto and Charon, orbit each other. So what do we know about comets? A comet is a small body of ice, rock, and dust that follows a highly elliptical orbit around the sun. Remember, that's kind of ovally in shape. All comets have a nucleus that's made up of ice and rock. Most comet nuclei, that's the center of the comet, are between 1 kilometer and 10 kilometers in diameter. So that's across the comet. If a comet gets close to the sun, solar radiation and heating cause the comet's ice to change to gas. So look at this picture here. As it gets close to the sun, solar radiation is causing its ice to change to gas. And a comma is a spherical cloud of gas and dust that comes off the nucleus. The ion tail of the comet, that's what you see trailing it, is the gas that's been ionized by the sun. So the ion tail always points away from the sun because the sun is it's following it. It's pushing it off, so it goes behind it. Think about the if you're riding a bicycle and your aerodynamics, right? The wind behind you. A second tail made of dust and gas curves backward along the comet's orbit. This dust tail can be millions of kilometers long. So here you go. You can tell the comet as it goes around the sun. The tail is changing directions, always pointed away from the sun in its orbit. The tail is pointed away from the sun, away from the sun. Collisions between objects in the Kuiper Belt produce fragments that become short-period comets. A short-period comet takes less than 200 years to go around the sun. That doesn't sound short to us, but to a comet it is. Short period comets have very short lifespans. Every time a comet goes past the sun, it may lose a layer as much as a meter thick. Long period comets come from the Oort cloud. They may take up to hundreds of thousands of years to go around the sun. And remember, as it goes around the sun, it can lose up to a meter, but if it's not going around the sun very quickly, then it is going to last longer. The Oort cloud is a spherical region that surrounds the solar system. And comets can form in the Oort cloud when two objects come together or hit each other or collide, or when the gravity of a nearby star sends an object into the inner solar system. A YouTube video here, remind me, I'll show you this in class because obviously you can't click on it. We'll look at this. Let's look at asteroids on the rocks. An asteroid is a small, irregularly shaped, rocky object that goes around the sun. Different from a comet, most asteroids are located in the asteroid belt between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. So the asteroid belt is what goes right between the inner and the outer planets, for the terrestrial and the gas giants. The asteroid belt contains hundreds of thousands of asteroids called main belt asteroids. Groups of asteroids are also located in the orbits of Jupiter and Neptune. These are called the Trojan asteroids, and we can also find asteroids in the Kuiper belt. Some asteroids are called near-Earth asteroids. These asteroids cross the orbits of Earth and Venus. So here you can see some pictures of the asteroid belt. The composition of asteroids vary. Some are rich in carbon, others are rocky with cores of iron and nickel, and yet others are rocky in the core, surrounded largely by ice. Some asteroids appear to be piles of rock loosely held together. Others contain economic minerals like gold and iron and nickel and cobalt and platinum. You know, gold is economic because you can get a lot of money from that. What do we know about meteoroids, meteors, and meteorites? A sand grain to boulder-sized rocky body that travels through space is called a meteoroid. Remember, traveling through space is a meteoroid. A bright streak of light that results when a meteoroid burns up in Earth's atmosphere is called a meteor. So as it's approaching the atmosphere, it's burning up. You see this bright streak of light. That's a meteor. Meteoroid is traveling through space. Meteor is coming through Earth's atmosphere and burning up. And then a meteorite is a meteoroid that actually reaches the surface of Earth without burning up. So you have a meteoroid traveling through space, a meteor as it comes through Earth's atmosphere and begins to burn up, and a meteorite as it strikes the Earth's surface. Meteoroids come from the asteroid belt, Mars, the Moon, and comets. Also, meteoroids that enter Earth's atmosphere do not reach Earth's surface. Many explode in the upper atmosphere. Others skip back into space. Large meteoroids that enter Earth's lower atmosphere or strike Earth's surface can be very destructive. Meteorites can be divided into three general groups. The most common form are the stony meteorites. Remember, a meteorite is one that actually makes it to Earth's surface. The stony meteorites are made up of silicate minerals. Silica is like sand. A much smaller group of meteorites are the iron meteorites that are composed mostly of iron and nickel. And the rarest group of meteorites are called stony iron meteorites. They are made up of both silicate minerals and the iron and nickel, like in the iron meteorites. Okay, don't forget to do a visa and get a signature for our next class.